guys. Welcome to History of a Haunting, episode number 114. I think. It's a lot. I'm just blown away. 114, I believe. I'm Carrie.
I'm Laura.
She's Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hosts most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Too often, I may say, too often.
We have a really interesting show for you guys today, tonight, this morning, whenever you're listening to us, in the car, in the shower, at home. Aaron, I'm looking at you. But before we get to the show, as always, guys, we have EVPs, or endless vocal prattling.
You're doing good already.
Should probably have another sip of wine. Prattling. That updates and announcements, fun things like that, a bunch of bullshit that we want to talk to you guys about and waste your time until we get to the meat and potatoes of the show. But really, this is an important one. So, guys, as we had mentioned, we are going to be participating in the Betty White Challenge. And that is going to be on January 17th, 2022, what would have been her 100th birthday. So what we are doing is we are, the podcast, us as individuals and our families, we are donating $5 to a local shelter or rescue in Betty White's name. And we certainly hope that you decide to join us for this momentous movement, one that she surely deserves. She was a very, very well-known advocate for animal rescues and all kinds of animal rights activism. So we are here for this challenge. This sounds like a lot of fun, and we certainly hope that you guys will join us in it. As you can see, we have all of our pictures of our adorable, wonderful pets. We got Tater and Eddie and Chewy and Leia, and then Ms. Betty White herself. And this is actually one of my favorite pictures of her, so I included that in the overlay here. So yeah, join us on January 17th, $5 to a local shelter or rescue. Please make sure to make it in Betty White's name. So that's what I have for EVPs for the show. I don't have any really for me. Do you have anything? Any funny stories? Any more penis lube that you were meant for you that was given to someone else?
I wish. No. Nope. I'm trying to get a handle on all my garage.
Okay.
And organizing and all of those sorts of super fun adult-y things.
Yeah.
So nothing very exciting.
Home ownership is kind of a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me.
Really, it really is. I need someone to come. I need like a more adultier adult to come do these things for me.
So many more adultier adults I need in my life.
Right, me too. Although my dad did come install my Ring for me, my Ring camera.
Oh, that's
the
right.
Doorbell today.
Good.
So nice. But, Zane goes in and out so much, it's already annoying me. I've had it for like 8 hours. I'm already like, this shit is a little bit intense.
Right? How do I shut this off, Dad?
Right.
Yeah. We have one of those too, and I've got to figure out how to I don't know if you can change the sensitivity on it, but when we had, at Christmas, we had one of our inflatables on the patio, and if it was windy and he would blow forward and back, my phone would blow up with, the doorbell has detected a person. The doorbell has detected a person. And I'm like, oh my God. It happened while we were doing the live at the Stanley Hotel.
Oh,
that one was a pumpkin, 3 pumpkins, and so I kept looking at my phone, and it was like, Guardian has detected a thing. Guardian has detected a person. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So yeah, I need to try to figure out how to turn the sensitivity on and off, but
yeah, well, good luck with that. You need an adultier adult.
I need an adultier adult. So if there's anybody listening, please. Yay. I love it though. Ring doorbells are really cool. Jennifer's always sending me videos of the fucking mailman that just hooks packages up to her front door and stuff. She's like, that asshole.
That's funny.
So hopefully you'll send me some of those fun videos too.
Yeah, it's mostly going to be Zane ringing the doorbell and running in the house. That's
it. Oh, so he rings the doorbell and then runs in? It's not just him going in and out, it's chiming?
No, before he was ringing the doorbell. He just likes to ring it to be annoying and then laughs when he comes in the house. And then, so now it's just him going in and out both. And then also he likes to ring the doorbell. Now it's something new for him to fucking touch, you know?
Oh my God. Thank God you don't have a dog, because every time that somebody rings our doorbell, oh my God. It's insanity. It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's so loud.
I remember going up to your house. Yeah. My old dog used to bark a lot when the doorbell would go off, but usually she was pretty chill, so she didn't get too riled.
Yeah. See, they all rile each other up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good times with that.
Cool.
That was our house in Austin, though. Somebody would walk by, and there were always people outside. Being healthy or whatever.
Yeah.
And the dogs would just go bananas. I had to keep the blinds closed a lot in the front of the house, because otherwise they would just be going crazy all the
Losing
time.
their shit. Yeah. That's how mine is.
People outside.
Yeah. Oh my God, living their lives. How dare they? Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
But also, animals are wonderful.
They are. So donate to your rescue and shelter to save them. It's magical. Go get a pet. All right. Cool. No other updates and announcements that you want to...
That's all I got, really.
That's all
the
you
most
got?
exciting that's happened. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I love it. Well, why don't you tell them the episode title and where we're taking them today?
We are going to cover the UFO abduction of Travis Walton.
Yes. That was in our home state of Arizona. That happened. Sorry. Sources.
Sources are dreadcentral.com, ranker.com, huffpost.com, and wired.com.
Yes.
I do have a funny story about this later. Remind me at the end of the show, and I'll tell you.
Okay. I'm going to write it down, because if I don't, I won't remember.
All right. I probably won't either, so hey.
Everybody's going to listen to me write it down.
We're trying to be adultier adults.
We're trying to be, yeah. Okay, here it is. Laura's story, haha. So, okay.
I don't know if it's that funny, but now there's a lot of build up to it, and I'm feeling like kind of insecure about it.
I'm just going to be like, that was it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah.
A recent survey found more than half of all Americans believe in aliens, an idea mainstream enough that even Hillary Clinton brought it up. Still, it's hard to take seriously anyone who says he was abducted by E.T.
I'd like to be abducted by E.T.
I mean, who didn't?
But him specifically, not like, you know.
Right, yeah. Like, can you make my bike fly? When I was a kid, I don't know how many times I saw that movie.
Right. Oh, God.
So many.
OD'd on Reese's Pieces, can't eat them to this day.
Right? I have one of those little plastic ETs. God, I loved ET.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, anyway.
Such stories usually bring to mind little green men with an affinity for putting probes where no one wants a probe. I mean, clearly some people want a probe. Even the most seasoned UFOologist. Is that what we call it?
UFOologist? That's what they...
UFOologist? That sounds like a...
Phologist?
UFOologist?
UFOologist? I don't know.
All right, we're going to go with that.
I'm sure one of them is listening, so if that's what we call you, let us know.
All right. And they will tell you that it's wise to be skeptical of alien abductions. But the Travis Walton alien abduction story is one that's incredibly hard to disprove. In fact, no one has ever been able to truly debunk this case. Many people who have been abducted by aliens can only offer their version of events. But Travis Walton had 6 friends to corroborate his story of being picked up by a UFO one night in 1975.
I mean, that's, you know, it's maybe you could get one person alive for you, but 6?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially after this came under such scrutiny, too, to actually, you know.
Right, yeah, for sure.
So before Travis Walton became a world-famous alien abductee, he was just a simple logger living in Arizona. But after his abduction, his story was turned into the film Fire in the Sky. And he began a lifelong mission.
You're doing great.
To prove that he had survived being picked up by extraterrestrials. On November 5th, 1975, Travis Walton was working as a lumberjack in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. After a hard day at work, he loaded up in a truck with 6 of his coworkers and headed back towards the nearest town, Snowflake, Arizona. Why does this town constantly come up in our podcast, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know.
Something weird going on in Snowflakes.
Something weird going on in Snowflake. Yes, yes. My father is buried in Snowflake.
Oh,
he lived there.
Maybe that's him. Maybe it's him.
Maybe he's just trying to tell me he's with me.
Aww. Maybe.
Thanks, Dad. I never knew.
Right.
Anyway, this is Travis Walton, guys. This is not my dad.
On a less personal note.
Seriously.
As they drove on with night settling in, they witnessed a saucer-shaped object just 100 feet in front of them. Mike Rogers, a member of the group, would later describe it as a luminous object shaped like a flattened disc. Walton got out of his truck and approached the craft to get a better look and was thrown to the ground by a bluish beam for his troubles. His crew drove off, freaked out of their gourds, but after a few minutes, they returned to where they'd seen the craft and Walton was gone.
Do you know how fucking pissed I'd be if you took off and left me there?
Later. I mean, to be honest, I probably fucking would. I'd be like, I'm sorry, bye. Should have gotten out of the car.
Great. No crazy dark roads with you then.
Right, definitely not. The crew claimed that they searched the area and that Walton, along with the luminous craft, was gone. Later, Walton would describe the beam as a blast of energy. I was curious. I just wanted to see it up close. I thought it would be gone before I got up to it. Afterwards, when some of the other loggers theorized that Walton approached the ship because he was under outside control, he admits that he was entranced, but that it was because of his fascination with the craft. Walton continued, when I got up close to it, it suddenly got louder and started to move. After the craft started to move, Walton says that he jumped away and tried to run towards the truck, and that's when he was hit with the beam of light. Walton says that when he was hit with the long blue flame, his body went numb. He believes that it may have been an electrical blast that zapped him, but even he admits that he was not entirely sure what hit him. Quote, when I was first able to focus my eyes good enough, I was still on the table. And as soon as I saw this face and knew it wasn't human, I tried to hit it away from me. They were much smaller than me, and I think that's the reason they gave up. Once they found out they couldn't control me, they split. I was absolutely terrified. After escaping the 3 alien examiners, Walton found himself in a mysterious room with nothing but a chair and a control panel. He circled the room to make sure he was alone before sitting in the chair to collect his thoughts. According to Walton, as soon as he sat down, a collection of lights filled the room. He noticed that it was similar to that of a planetarium, and when he adjusted a lever on the side of the chair, he was able to control the star map that was displayed in front of him. After leaving the chair, the star map disappeared and someone slipped into the room. Rather than finding one of the 5-foot-tall examiners, Walton was face-to-face with a 6-foot-tall human wearing blue coveralls with a glassy helmet.
That's creepy as hell.
Right? For real. I think that's worse.
I think,
While trying to ask the man questions, Walton realized that he couldn't understand a word that the guy was saying, probably because of the helmet, and that his eyes were a bright gold color. This man led him...
It was Edward Cullen.
Right? It might have been.
It was Edward Cullen. He was bright glittering.
He probably was. That's why he had the helmet. The man that led Walton through the ship, showing him a kind of hangar and another ship before leading him to another examination room where he was knocked out by one of the examiners. Meanwhile, while Travis Walton was being poked and prodded by examiners aboard a mysterious ship, the members of his crew were dealing with a glut of legal problems.
Yeah.
Over the next few days, the local sheriff's department would conduct a thorough investigation of the scene. Since they couldn't find Walton anywhere, this led to a suspicion being placed on his crew. Had they murdered Walton and tried to cover it up? Were they trying to get out of a government contract? Theories about the men were flying wildly, but nothing made sense. The men each underwent polygraph tests, and all but one of the men passed. The 6th test was inconclusive.
Yeah, polygraphs I don't put... There's a lot of ways that they could be manipulated, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah.
While the idea that a crew of loggers murdered their boss sounds enticing, some of the less inflammatory members of the media just assumed that the crew was joking about the abduction and that it had gotten out of hand. After the scrutiny that the crew was put through, they probably wish that they had pulled off the world's longest prank.
Could you imagine? Oh my God.
No. 5 days after he disappeared from the forest outside Snowflake, Arizona, Walton woke up on the side of the road in Heber, Arizona, 30 miles southwest of where he was last seen. He remembers seeing the alien craft close its door and float away into the distance. For an instant, it floated silently above the road a dozen yards away. I could see the night sky, the surrounding trees, and the highway center line reflected in the curving mirror of its hull. Then abruptly, it shot vertically into the sky, creating a strong breeze that stirred the nearby pine boughs and rustled the dry oak leaves that lay in the dry grass beside the road.
This is all very specific. You know what I mean? Like, this is all very specific. Even if he did take those 5 days to concoct it, I really don't think that, especially if once his friends were starting to insinuate that they thought that they had murdered him, how many of those 6 friends would have just kept with the story? For what? Right. To what end? To what end?
Right.
It wasn't like he was going to be like, now we're definitely going to get a book deal out of this. We're definitely going to get a movie deal out of this. So no matter what they do,
just stick with it.
Just stick with it. I wouldn't. You'd be on your fucking own.
And you wouldn't know that he was ever going to come back. So you would really be like thinking you were going to get charged with murder.
With murder. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, after the craft left, Walton ran into town and tried to find someone to help him, but the town was conspicuously empty. He ended up getting in touch with his brother-in-law at 12:05 a.m., and about an hour later, he was back in civilization, although he'd only believed he'd been gone for about an hour and a half. So he had run to this phone bank, and I have that picture here too. I think this is the right one. Let me just check, guys. Sorry. Anybody wants to produce this show for free, let me know. Yay! That is the exact phone bank that he ran to when he called his brother-in-law at 12:05 a.m. What I found super funny about this picture is, look, you can see there is no longer a phone in that one booth.
I was like, is this still there? What's happening?
Kids, this is what payphones used to look like. So once Walton returned from the ship, his family did their best to keep him out of the public eye, but that obviously wasn't going to happen. In the 5 days that he'd been gone, the media and UFOologists had descended on Arizona to cover this insane story. So rather than giving the guy time to recuperate, he was immediately put on the defensive. He was quickly given a lie detector test that he failed. Depending on which side of the story you believe, Walton had either been through a massive amount of trauma and shouldn't have been expected to answer questions under duress, or he just returned from hiding in the woods for 5 days and hadn't fully figured out his story. Which, again, how do you not fully figure out your story in 5 days? You're literally doing nothing but hiding and concocting a story, but you still... I don't know. Whatever the case, when Walton was given subsequent lie detector tests, he passed with flying colors. So even though Travis Walton's story is completely backed by MUFON, MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, there are some people out there who didn't think that anyone was actually abducted by aliens in this scenario. The most vocal of Walton's proponents was Philip Klass, a UFOologist who believed that most UFO sightings were cases of ball lightning or just straight up hoaxes. I don't know what ball lightning is, do you?
Yeah, I think for some reason, I think we talked about it before. It's like a weird lightning phenomenon.
Is it specifically like in like
a mountainous? I don't know. I don't know that much about it. I'm not a fucking meteorologist, Carrie.
I'm so sorry. You were just like, it looks like a ball. You dumbass, Carrie.
No, I know that we've talked about it before.
Have
on
we?
This show. I swear. So it's an unexplained phenomenon described as luminescent spherical objects that vary from pea size to several meters in diameter. Though usually associated with thunderstorms, the observed phenomenon is reported to last considerably longer than a split-second flash of lightning bolt, and is a phenomenon distinct from St. Elmo's fire.
I love that movie.
Right. St. Elmo's fire is, doesn't that have something to do with planes? I don't remember now.
All right, you look that up.
Let's look that up.
Okay.
It's a weather phenomenon. St. Elmo's fire is a weather phenomenon in which luminous plasma is created by a corona discharge from a rod-like object such as a mast, spire, chimney, or animal horn in an atmospheric electrical field.
Oh, okay.
It has also been observed on the leading edges of airplanes. That's where I know it's from. As in the case of British Airways Flight 9, the intensity of the effect, a blue or violet glow around the object, often accompanied by a hissing or buzzing sound, is proportional to the strength of the electric field and therefore noticeable primarily during thunderstorms or volcanic eruptions.
Oh, wow. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I did know that it has happened, I think, in conjunction with planes.
Yeah. Okay. So it turns out you can be a meteorologist, Laura.
I can. And just give me that, a minute in Google, and we got the shit down.
Okay. I'm going to add that to your bio on the website. And podcast meteorologist. Mm-hmm. Catholicism expert and podcast meteorologist. So
I'm about an expert as much as each one. It works out perfect.
So Cass also claimed that Walton had watched the UFO incident, which was a made-for-TV movie about the abduction of Betty and Barney Hill a few weeks prior to claiming that he had been abducted. And I guess details in Walton's story allegedly closely matched what was shown in the film. Have you ever heard of that abduction?
I haven't.
It was, I think it was in the 1950s, 1960s, this couple had together been abducted by a UFO. So they had, in the 73, I think this made-for-TV movie came out about their story. Mm-hmm. So Class felt that Walton was either inspired by the film to pull off a hoax or that he was confusing his memories with scenes from the film. Mm-hmm. So aside from Class, several people claimed that Walton had been drinking or was on drugs at the time of his abduction. Walton has always claimed that he was sober at the time of the event, noting that he had been using a chainsaw only 1 hour or so prior to the event. So, wouldn't really be smart to be high or wasted and wielding a chainsaw. So,
true.
Yeah. He told the Huffington Post, quote, the accusation that it was all a drug hallucination The accusations that it was all a drug hallucination were refuted by the fact that my blood samples went through the county medical examiner's drug screening when he came back. Which I don't know how great they were. Yeah, and I don't know how great they were in 1975. Like now, they can do a hair collect and know every drug that you've done in the last 7 years. But I don't know how great they were in 75. But I would imagine
acid wouldn't show up anyway. A lot of hallucinogenics wouldn't show up. So if he was taking hallucinogenics. And in an hour.
Right. Right. So apparently, this is what I thought it was interesting. And I do also have that picture as well. Let me just make sure it's in the right. Apparently the area where the UFO blasted him with a mysterious ray before abducting him has begun to experience a strange amount of growth. After coring out a section of trees in the area and submitting them for testing, it was concluded that something weird definitely happened to the area where Walton says he was abducted. Tests indicate that for 15 years after the abduction, the trees experienced rapid growth. Furthermore, tree trunks that face the UFO have a series of rings that are incredibly wide and elliptical rather than the standard concentric rings that most trees in that area have. Tests also show that there was some chemical change in the soil, although further investigation has to be done yet to determine the cause of the change. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So it's believed that most human aliens, those folks from Mexico,
we're talking to you, Elon
Europe,
Musk.
Yeah. It is, oh God, don't sue us. You're not getting anything out of us if you do. It's believed that most alien abductions occur because extraterrestrials want to study our bodies, put chips in us, and possibly create alien-human hybrids a la Elon Musk.
And success.
And yay. But Travis Walton doesn't feel like that's why he spent 5 days aboard an alien vessel. Walton believes that his crew stumbled upon the aliens who were doing some research, and then he wandered too close to their beam. After he was zapped with an accidental energy blast from the ship, Walton feels like the aliens wanted to make sure he was okay, so they airlifted him into their ship. He says, in hindsight, I'm thinking a lot of the fear I was reacting with and the pain I was experiencing had nothing to do with anything being inflicted on me. Maybe I've been abducted by aliens. Maybe they scrambled my brain. It was just sort of an accident of circumstance.
Aliens, i.e. wine.
I board the Franzia ship every night.
That's what we shall call it from now on.
Yes. So these days, the area where the event happened is a very different place than it was in 1975. In 2002, a wildfire destroyed the area. The logging road Travis and his friends were on that night has since been decommissioned by the Forest Service. So in 1979, Travis did write a book about his experiences called The Walton Experience. The movie Fire in the Sky that Laura had mentioned earlier was adapted from this book and into a horror film in 1993. So Travis Walton actually never went back to logging, and he has actually spent the last 40 years of his life touring the country, giving talks at UFO conventions and things like that. He occasionally takes groups up to the area in the Apache Sitgraves National Forest where something extraordinary, whether it was extraterrestrial or a hoax, happened all those years ago. And this is him today. Maybe if I get the picture right. Yes, this is him today.
Nice.
Yes. So
he kind of looks like the My Pillow guy.
He kind of does. Oh my God, that's who he looks like. That's who he looks like. Wonder if he is. We should look into that. What's that guy's name? Mike somebody?
I don't know. Something like that.
Something like that.
Mike Crazy Eyes.
He does. So Walton addresses the stigma that he and so many other people who claim encounters with impossible or Jesus. I haven't had that much wine, guys. I swear. Let's try this again. Walton addresses the
Maybe you should have more. Maybe that's
the problem. He addresses the stigma that he and so many other people who claim encounters with possible alien beings are generally considered unreliable wackos. He says, quote, "The scientific evidence of the likelihood of intelligent life in our vicinity has become so overwhelming that people who believe that we're alone in the universe, those are the kooks." And that, guys, is the story of the abduction of Travis Walton. I do have one final picture to show, and this is actually of one of the trees that they cored out the center of. Maybe. We'll see. Nope, that's me. Hi. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is that tree. I am not an arborist or a tree person. So I really couldn't. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I see rings.
I see rings. I see rings, and I see some sap. I see some bark.
It's a very pretty tree. No.
Probably was a very pretty tree. Yes. So, yeah, that's the story. I really like it. I have never seen that movie Fire in the Sky. Have you?
Yes. So that actually is what my story
is. That your story? Oh, right here.
It is. So
Laura's story. Haha.
There you go. There you go. So, 1993, the movie comes out. My friend and I go see it in the movie theater. Totally creeped us out. The thing was, I knew I was moving to Arizona at that time. And that is like that and like Pump Up the Volume were the only things I really, and I had been here once, but those are the only things I really knew about Arizona. I was like, so the kids look cool and listen to good music, and then also I might be abducted by fucking aliens. So don't go in. My friend was like making fun. She's like, don't go in the forest. Like, I won't.
Oh my God.
Forest is bad. But I remember how badly that movie freaked me out.
Really? I've got to watch it now.
bit.
I've never seen it. And my grandmother lived in Payson, and Payson is not far from Show Low, Heber, Snowflake area. So I would go up and spend like most of my summers up there. We'd go every holiday. We spent it up at my grandmother's in Payson. And she lived in a trailer park in Star Valley, just outside of Payson. And it was bumped up against the Toronto National Forest. My friends and I would go and dig around in that forest for hours. At night, it didn't matter. There were bears. We knew it. We were just like, whatever, la, 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 play out in the forest. If I had ever known any kind of thing that happened like this anywhere near that area, I would not have done it.
Right.
I was blissfully unaware, but it's beautiful out there. We came up with a club, and we made a fort, and we hung sheets from trees, and it was the best time. But I can kind of see where that might be, good area to just, fly in and take a look at. And
I mean, the Southwest in general has, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, all of this area, Nevada,
Utah.
There's
Skinwalker
a lot
Ranch,
of sightings over here.
Yeah.
And
what do you think? Do you think
have
this
the
story's
lights that
true?
flew over Phoenix?
Oh God,
You
the
have
Phoenix
all that other
lights.
stuff.
Yeah, I've seen those. I saw them in 1997. We saw those lights. We didn't. I thought they were just airplanes. They were just kind of
That's what I thought too.
waiting to land at the airport. I didn't know.
Well, and you have the Air Force Base, right? So
Right? Luke Air Force
you never
Base.
know if they're flying in formation.
Exactly.
I mean, you see it a lot over Phoenix. You do see the Air Force stuff. And,
You do,
and not as
yeah.
much as you used to, because I don't think the Williams base, I think it's closed down. I'm not sure. But I know Luke is still active, but you used to see it a lot more. But, I mean, it wasn't an unusual sight. And you would not think it was.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would just thought it was the military, so.
Yeah.
Until you found out it wasn't.
Until you found out it wasn't.
Or at least they say it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So what do you think? Do you believe this story?
I believe in aliens, but I don't know how I feel about the abduction stories.
Do you believe in
They're
E.T.?
kind of hard for me.
Do you believe E.T. was real?
100%.
Okay, good.
But he didn't take anybody with him.
Do you believe you could make an intergalactic call with a speaking spell?
Yes, I 100%.
Okay,
You can MacGyver that shit.
Of course, thank God. Okay. You know what? I don't see why this couldn't have happened. Granted, it happened 2 years before we were born, but I don't, excuse me, I don't see why this why this couldn't have happened. I think.
Right, I think it's plausible, like it could have happened. I do believe in aliens. Like
Me too. Yeah. And I think us as a species have to be really fucking arrogant to think that we are the only intelligent life in the universe. This vast
And considering
universe.
how many billions of years the universe was
Oh, seriously.
ahead of us.
think, yeah.
And we're not that great, to be honest. Like, I hope there's someone a little better out there to give us a good example.
Right?
Be nice.
Right? I hope we're not the beta fish of the universe. We'll just eat others if put in close proximity to us.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah.
Oh, and the NASA thing. We should talk about the NASA thing. So
Yes, let's talk about it. I don't know what you're going to say.
Okay. So, and this was even kind of been hitting social media too. The fact that, and I know it was on the news, that NASA has hired 24 theologians to talk about the impact of what.
I just saw this the other day.
Yeah, what I think did I send it to you? I think I might have sent it to you. That what the impact would be on people and religion as a whole, all the different religions, if people found out that there were aliens, like, and the fact that they're doing that is very interesting. Plus, all the stuff that just got released from. Have you seen any of the footage that was released from the government?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew that, the front man from Blink-182 was going to turn into, like a big... well, he's one of the reasons that some of that stuff got declassified.
I bet, yeah. Oh, and then Harry Reid. Yes. And then Harry Reid, who was a big senatorial proponent for UFO research, he just passed away. Yes,
he did.
Yeah.
And he was from Nevada, right?
I believe so. He was,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, somehow, and I can't remember. We did an episode on Skinwalker Ranch. He was involved in that some kind of way.
I think
some kind of way. Yeah, I believe in it. I absolutely believe in it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know. I mean, like I said, E.T., intergalactic calls made with a speak and spell. That's about my extent of alien knowledge. But I don't see why not. Like you said, I don't see why it wouldn't be plausible at all. I'm just very ignorant. I got kind of into it
when I was younger. Like,
really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just
being interested by
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I like that bringing this up, kind of talking about it, and there's so much interesting stuff. Yeah. Like, it's so current right now. All the things that are going on.
Oh yeah, very topical. Yeah,
and like coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to definitely do some more UFO stuff because there's just so much happening. I just feel like it's about to really come out more and more, like that it's a real thing.
I think so too.
To the point where it can't be denied.
Right. And there's a lot of really cool documentaries that are being made about UFOs and aliens and things like that I'm anxious to watch when they come out. So yeah, we'll definitely see how it goes. Archie was bummed out that he wasn't able to join us for this episode because he loves aliens. He loves aliens. I think because he is one.
Right? We may have figured some things out.
I think we figured some stuff out. We gotta go, guys. I need to make a phone call. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I like this one, and I was hesitant for a while to introduce and start doing UFO stories on the podcast, simply because in the beginning I wanted to make it just staunchly nothing but hauntings. But the paranormal umbrella is large, and there are so many things that can fill this vast space. So I'm glad that you and I decided to incorporate stories like this into our telling every week, because this was a really cool one. And I picked this one first because, like I said, it happened in Snowflake, and
and they made a movie about it. It's a very well known.
Yeah, it is. I do know about the movie. I've just never seen it. E.T. put me off on a lot of UFO movies because it was so heartbreaking when he left, and I've seen that movie twice, and that's it. Only twice, because I bawl my eyes out every single time, but I absolutely know every single frame of that movie. It was just very iconic for our generation.
It totally was. I've seen it a million times.
Oh, yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah.
My family was sick of it. That and Footloose were like my jams.
Oh, really? I've only seen Footloose once.
Oh, I used to rent it all the time.
Yeah.
My mom would take me to the, like, Blockbuster or whatever. It wasn't even a Blockbuster then.
Right. Like, where you had to rent the VCR too?
When they still had Beta. Yeah.
Yes!
And they would have the little boxes, and we had to take, like, a little chip up to the front and pull them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're so old.
So old.
I used to... I would rent like the same, just like any kid. I would rent the same
stuff over.
My mom was like, seriously, enough.
Mine was always the Breakfast Club. Yeah, mine was always the Breakfast Club, or
a million times.
16
Candles.
16 Candles.
All those.
Weird Science.
Oh, yeah, great one.
All of the
good 80s stuff.
The good 80s. If Molly Ringwald was in it, I was there for it.
You were down.
And Anthony Michael Hall, love him to this day.
Yeah.
He was just in a recent movie that I was like, oh my God, Anthony Michael Hall's in this. I can't remember what it was. Shit. That'll be next week, EVP. I'm going to find that out. Anyway, Laura, that was a fabulous story, and I'm excited to do more UFO stories. In the meantime, why don't you let everybody know where they can follow us?
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter at HOAH Podcast. And on the TikTok at HOAH Podcast, at HOAH Carrie, and at HOAH co-host Laura.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! So we want to say thank you so much, guys, for watching. I did just, Laura, as you were reading that, I just got a text message from Jennifer that Bob Saget has been found dead at the age of 65 in his hotel room.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of surprising. It's a news article. She's a huge Full House fan, so I'm sure she's probably absolutely stunned. But anyway, so our love and our thoughts certainly do go out to Bob Saget's family and all of his fans. And hate to end the show on a downer, but, you know, whatever. Sorry, I mean, it's not Good Time Charlie up in here.
Generally, no.
Generally, no. Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you so much. As always, we want to tell you to stay safe out there because you never know who
or what
is listening or flying around your head and might beam you up by your stomach.
Do not approach UFOs.
Do not approach UFOs. Probably even stay away from just spotlights in general. Good rule of thumb.
Good idea.
Bye, guys. We will see you next week. Love you so much.